Hey folks, this is actually for Glenn. What you're looking at right here is the sun up here on the top, and this is SDR console. So I'm using an SDR switch to grab the IF as an interrupt under transmit to send it to an HF plus. Yesterday I tried the RSP Duo, works the same, absolutely the same. And let's see if I can get back to the screen here. So this is a solution to the lack of a 20 dB preamp on the sun. The receive is weak on the sun. Glenn's been using an FTDX 3000. I can tell you the 7300 is much hotter, although the 7300 is a noise box. It's horrid. So I decided, well, let's try and get console synced up with the Sun software. So if I punch the key, I'll show you a couple things here. If I punch the key, it kills both, and I'm on, I have my drive level set to 0, so there's nothing going out. And as you can see right here, the mic meter, everything's working, right? So to get this synced up, how I did it, it's the first thing I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to get into the functionality of the real purpose of why I did this. So VSPE, if you go to VSPE, I created a serial port pair, standard pair, which you need for the Sun to get it to sync up to your logbook. That's COM5 to COM6. And then I put a splitter connected to that serial port pair. You're going to need this for console or Uno, whatever you're running, right? The splitter is, I have COM6 to COM7. I think it's COM6 to COM7. Let me put my glasses on because I can't see and I just got up this morning. No, it's COM5 to COM7. So the pair is COM5 to COM6. Splitter is COM5 to COM7. Okay, so that's what the splitter looks like. Now OmniRig. I have it set to the TS480. And I have OmniRig set to COM7. That's the last port in the splitter, not the pair. Okay, 38.4, RTS DTR high. I leave everything else alone. All right, I should probably reduce the pole interval, but I'll do that later. Go to Options on the Sun software, the EE software. Go to Cat. And I have the cat set to COM6, okay? And baud rate is not correct. So I need to change that to 38.4, ETT line none, key line none. All right, parity none, data bits 8, stop bits 1, data 8, stop bit. Go ahead and re-enable that, hit apply, okay. Now if I light up the logger, I'm showing you the connectivity to get this thing working. So there's a logger, okay. You can see it tracks, all three are tracking. I just switched it to 7215, 7215 on console, 7215 on the log. And of course, if you're running log4OM, you want it set to OmniRig 1. This is the first, remember, when you saw OmniRig, it was in the number 1. There's 2 OmniRigs available, channels, so that you want this on whatever channel that you have your Sun, that COM port set in OmniRig. Right? Just close this. Now, it's going through the LOTW upload process. That's why it took so long. Okay, So now what I'm going to show you is something kind of interesting. Let's find the signal here. I think these guys may have failed. Nope, they're still there. Okay. So if you watch the S meter up here on the sun, and you watch the S meter on console, looks like they're not talking anymore. So let's jump down here. Now, the tracking between console and the sun is a little quirky. Like, because I'm using the sun to move, I'm using console to move the sun. You'll notice that, let's say I click on do filter width. I go down here and I click here, right? So you see 142.9. It tracks. And I'll go to 0 beat this on console. So I'll go, oh, it worked. So it jumped to 7143, 7143. Sometimes it's a little wonky. You got to roll it up 100 hertz and then down 100 hertz. And it will lock up. So if you do this, just keep an eye on it. It's just it's a quirk. But now, if you look at the S meter on the sun, okay, that signal is an S9. Well, that's about an S8 right there. Let's see if I can get a consistent signal. We need to get someone who's talking a lot. See, didn't follow it. 163.1, 163. So just roll it back and forth one, and it'll lock it up. Could be an OmniRig issue. May have to adjust that a little bit, but it's not a deal breaker. Okay, look at the S meter on the sun. It's an S9. Look over here at console, 20 over. So now you've got a 20 dB preamp. Because the sun, I noticed, now this is V2 software. I don't know if they fix this in V3, but I don't use V3. You have the ability to go to plus 10. Right now it's at 0, minus 10, minus 20 dB. It doesn't have any effect. None whatsoever. Like you would have on like an ICOM or a Yaesu or something like that, where you have a true 20 dB preamp. Where you can, with the signals being CAC lately, I wanted something where I could really ramp it up. So if you come down to console and you go to home, you'll see visual gain right here. Well, that also ramps up the IF gain. So I have this at plus 10 dB. So you have the ability, and you have all these different settings in here where you can really wind this thing up. You can wind it up without overload. That's the nice part about console. You can't do that in Uno. You go into overload pretty quick on Uno. It's very touchy. So there's your 20 dB preamp, right?
Which, the radios can saturate it. And there's no saturation on this thing. Yeah, good point about the SD card that gets well used every time the radio is turned on. I've never replaced.
Okay. So, another thing I'm going to show you is I started using, I went and I paid for it, and I'm not sure I should have. So, let me get over to this other window. I got to drag this over here. So this, I ended up paying for this plugin. It's $100, unfortunately. It's pretty much the best on the market. It's called Supertone Clear. This one right here. And it strips out the noise off of the audio. And it works really well. Absolutely smokes the Anon noise reduction. Now, of course, this is VST host. So I'm sending the audio out from console and the sun through Banana, voice meter Banana, and I have voice meter Banana, so the audio flows into voice meter Vio, and I have A2 set to line 1 virtual audio cable. Okay, and what this does is it sends it to VST host. Up to devices, wave. You'll see input port, line 1 virtual audio cable, output my sound card. I have it set to 48,500 samples. All right. Now, this control right here, the ambience control on the Supertone Clear, is the level of noise reduction. You turn it this way, counterclockwise. You can also invert it so it goes the other way. I was playing with that, whatever. But it gives you a picture of the noise floor. So this right here, this middle one, let me get the, I'm going to mute it on OBS. So I will light up console. Turn the volume down. The ST host back up. So when this guy stops talking, this is the voice right here, and this is the voice reverb. So I pretty much don't mess with this at all, because this is really designed for studio and recording applications to strip noise out of background noise out of audio. And you can see when he stops talking, you'll see the noise floor, where the noise floor is. Now the graphic on the left here over the ambience is the native noise floor. Okay, that's the noise that's in the signal. And you'll see what this does visually when he stops talking. And if I roll this up and remove a lot of the noise reduction, let's bring this up to neutral here. The noise is included, is there with the audio. And you'll see this noise floor drop right down to nothing. See it? So let me demonstrate the effect. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll toggle it in and out. See if I can minimize this. So yeah, you can. So I'll just move this over here like this. So if I go to a signal or an open spot where there's no signal, if you look, you can see the noise floor right here. I'll unmute that. And so if we take and we remove a lot of the noise reduction, you can see up here how the noise climbed on this left one. The noise actually climbed over baseline. So if you take this down, there's two lines there. There's a blue line and a white line. And you can hear it in the audio because I have it on. I can't hear it because I have it muted. But see how the noise climbs right up, the native noise floor? So if you bring this down, I mean, you can bring it right down to, you can literally kill it. So that's literally maximum, set to maximum. So if I click on the signal here.
Yeah, you know, the TV channels were down for a couple of weeks. And I was in Florida for about half of that time there. So, yeah, they did do some monumental work, I would say, on the tower. And it probably helped decrease the noise there into your shack. I'm sure of that. And, hey, you know, I was talking to Eunice, what's this called? Sierra 20+DX or something like that. I was talking to him Thursday or Friday, and I just mentioned, and he was talking about my last trip to Hawaii, and so I just threw something out there that either he.
Okay, so what I do is I also run this, and you don't have to. I also run this with the Bertom, the Noiser Pro. Unfortunately, you have to pay for the Pro as well. Now, you don't have to run this with the Bertom. So if I were going to buy anything, I would scrap the Bertom. If you're going to run console, because remember console, let me minimize this, console has excellent noise reduction as well, plus the true AGCT. Now what this system allows you to do is run the AGCT more open, and with the way the signals are lately, you got to be able to do weak signal work. You have to be able to hear the weak signals. And Bertom, because it's a free plugin, there is some artifacting there. Now Clear has no artifacts, zero artifacts. It's just a fine white hiss when you have it cracked wide open. Very pleasurable to listen to if you want to run it wide open, and you can adjust it and bring it down. I don't run it fully tight because of the weak signal situation. Coffee's good. I just got up a little bit. So, yeah, so what I have on console, I don't use any of the other noise reductions. I just use NR1 just to strip at about 4 dB, just to take a little bit of white noise off the top before it heads out to Supertone Clear. Not much. You don't need much because console is so effective. It's such a great program, but it can be a little wonky. One thing I wanted to show you is the audio end, how I have it set up. So go up here, top right to settings on console, and go to audio playback and buffering. And you'll see I have buffer size set to default, buffer fill to maximum, driver buffer minimum. And if you look down here, I have about 5 milliseconds latency. Very tight. Very tight. Once in a while, I'll get a kerchunk. That can be fixed with a relay to your monitoring system. So when you punch the key, it kills the analog feed. So it doesn't matter whether it lags or not. I figured I'd just mention that. But this is so effective. And it is, I mean, I can ramp that up even more. See, he's an S9 right here. And that's a 20 over. 25, 30 over. Okay, he just went to, there's 10 over, 30 over. So that's a 20 dB boost. Anybody who's interested, leave a comment in the section below. This will work on any radio using an SDR switch. And if you're not particularly happy with the receiver, you can do something like this. Of course, console's free. I have tutorials on my channel, as well as others, I'm sure, and how to set this up. But that's basically it.
Off right at the panel and only supply electrical power to the radio. Coming to you, Peter, V3PK, KMLM.
Yeah, okay, very good. The phone now is going to send Alex a message here. Okay, very good. KMLM E3PK, and Alex is coming your way after. Okay, well, good. It sounds like everybody's thumping along, and Bob.
Okay, guys. That's it, Glenn. I hope that gives you enough information. Put on a set of cans when you listen to this or listen to it. Don't listen to it on a smartphone. It is super, super stellar. Amazing receive quality. Absolutely amazing. So, and that's Supertone Clear. Is it worth $100? It depends. Only you could answer that. I'm all about the front end. I'm all about receive now. And that's just amazing. Is it worth $100 investment? I don't know. I'm kind of pissed that I spent $100 on it. But for the simplicity of how it operates and how effective it is, it's pretty ridiculous. All right, guys, we'll see you later.